Hello, everybody. Welcome to another Look Mac Talks. Today we are in. No, we are not in Germany. I wish we were, but we are not. But we have a little piece of Germany here with us. No, not again. It's not right. We have Richie Cavalera here with us. Richie is in Germany. We are in Lisbon, and we are speaking both concerning the new album of Incite. I don't know if we say Incite, but I will ask Richie all about that. First of all, Richie, it's a big, huge pleasure to have you here with us. So, welcome to our talks.
Thank you, Sandra. Thank you, Look, and all the listeners and viewers and everybody out there. Appreciate you taking your time.
It's a huge pleasure for me because when I was introducing you, you have something very that we all in Portugal appreciate very much because it's your dad. Because
Oh yeah.
Cavalera makes us move and our heart comes to beat a little bit stronger every time you speak about them. But I want to speak about you. Somehow it is important during your life as a musician to have the name Cavalera on your name as your last name.
I mean, personally, it's a beautiful thing. I love the history of my family. I love where it came from, my grandparents. All of that, is a beautiful part of the story, and obviously what my father and uncle have been able to accomplish in terms of metal and music. On the other side, I don't think it's made much of a difference in terms of my musical career. Uh, I started this band before really anybody from a family tried starting a band. And you look nowadays, and there's tons of kids from these legendary artists, and their routes are a lot easier than mine when I began. It was a total grind, and I think more than anything, it's just about me continuing on this legacy of Cavalera and heavy metal and everything that goes into that. So that's where I find my place and what I'm doing and what I'm here to give to the metal world as well.
Do you remember the first time that you went on a stage with your own band?
Oh yeah, must have been 2004,
Uh-huh.
and we just had started. We were just kind of like a school band. We'd go do like backyard parties and just kind of like that. We didn't really know how serious we wanted this to be, and I think as the years went by, it just became consuming everything about my life, and overtaking it, and me finding so much love and joy in what music was, and the journey, the process, the hard work, the grind. I'm a hardworking person, and all of that just really suited my nature of who I am. And those first shows, they were crazy. Arizona had a very good uh, metal scene, for starting bands. So we were very fortunate to have a really supportive community on top of the opportunity to really play and develop our skills.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. And the name. How do we spell this name correctly? And what does it mean?
It's Incite,
Yeah.
and the definition is to, like start a riot, to get people motivated, to get action going. And I think that when we were beginning this band and we were listening to our music and we were feeling the vibe of what we were, it resonated so well with everything we were doing. And I think over 20 years now, it still connects so well to the band and the music and everything that we stand for today.
Yeah, absolutely. You are launching now a new album. It calls Savage New Times. It's a pretty hard title. Tell me,
Definitely.
definitely, tell me a little bit more about the title and how does the title harmonize itself with the lyrics, with all the compositions that we can hear it in the album.
Yeah, I think that's always been an important thing for us as a band, having a strong album title that not only people can relate to, but also covers what the album is about and the feeling that you're going to have with this record. And our bass player L, he listened to the album and read the lyrics, and this is the what he came back and presented to us with. And I think the second we all heard it, we knew that that was the perfect definition for this album. It was a savage time. It was very hard for all of us. Music and family and relationships and money and all this stuff that was happening in our lives was reaching a point that was just becoming really hard. And I think it really related to everything that each member was going through, on top of somehow and amazingly being very relatable to the world at the same time. I think, that's something we don't strive for. We're not really like this, like political movement kind of band
Mm-hmm,
or
mm-hmm.
societal band. It was more just something that just happened to resonate into our lives, as well as expanding into, most everyone on the planet right now. So I think once people hear it and feel it, they'll understand the relation of that name to why it covers this record.
Absolutely, absolutely. And what does this album represent to you and to the band at this point of your career?
Probably create their best music as their first or second albums, and they spend the rest of their careers kind of chasing that or trying to redefine that. And for us, we've just been able to create albums and get better and grow and get better and grow and harness our ability as a heavy metal band to now look back and take the things that we do really good. We're a heavy metal band that can take vibes from all sorts of different genres and create I think very fresh, organic, exciting songs like what you have on this record. It really, from beginning to end, I don't think there's a moment where you get bored or you want to skip a track. I think if anything, you want to listen to it more. And we just really refined everything. And I think having our drummer Lennon and our guitar player Lane really taking over the writing for this record and really syncing in with each other created such an incredible album.
Mm-hmm. I see this album as one of the most, I don't know, ferocious albums of the band. Um, can you tell us what has changed or evolved if we compare this album with the others?
Yeah, I mean, I think this album, I think, would be ferocious for any band to put out. I think I believe that. I think if someone like Metallica or Slipknot presented this album, it would be acclaimed as one of the great records in music. It truly is, and we stand by that and believe that. And I think that's what's changed completely with the band. We've always been proud of our albums and proud of our songs, but this record truly is us capturing everything that we've been through in our lives, everything we've learned in our lives, the growth we've had together as a band. And I believe that it presents that to people. It has incredibly strong messages lyrically. It has a lot of in-depth, like melodicness to the album that
Yeah.
we haven't really dived into until now. And it really, like, I go back to being such a fun, exciting, and a great sounding record at the same time, to where we just put everything finally together. Steve Evans working with us now for the fourth time was a huge part in making this album get to where it needed to be, and really fun to make. Adding like piano and 12-string guitar and just all these different elements that we wanted to do, but just didn't have, like the right guitar player to create that. And with Lane, we're able to really do whatever we want now, and that's extremely exciting. I see nothing but better and better and better records for us in the future.
Yeah. Do you think now the band has finally found its own sound?
I think we've kind of had a little bit of that, but
Uh-huh.
I think that's what's exciting is being labeled like we do, a heavy metal band. That
Yeah.
allows us to be and feel and take whatever we kind of want from genres or images that we may have. So I think Wake Up Dead was definitely the beginning of us
Mm-hmm.
harnessing this direction that we're in. And to me, this definitely feels like that record we've been wanting to make since day one, in terms of the style, the vibe, and obviously the songs and more so the lyrical content. I think that's really achieved a vast improvement each record from the last, and
Yeah.
uh, I think this one really captures all of what we are.
Hmm. You already spoke about Lane, the new guitar player in the band, and I would like to ask you, how did that influence the coming of Lane into the band, the process behind the this album?
Yeah, so we've always had a little bit of issues with a guitar player. We've had a few of them, and they've each brought something to the table that grew the band and pushed the band forward. And
Hmm.
I think we came to a place with our former guy that it needed to be changed. It needed to be where the three other guys, me, El, and Lennon, had more control in what we're writing and more say in how we feel about the songs. And when we moved on from him, Lane just was everything we had looked for. Hardworking, humble, loves music, has the same kind of influences as the rest of us guys. So that made the transition for him to come in the band super smooth and easy. And then him being able to write incredible songs added to all of that. So we didn't have this nervousness of like not letting him be his full self on this record. We allowed him to come in and do what he wanted and suggest all the ideas and make changes. And then Lennon really bonded and really got close and got very in sync. And that, I think, when you have a drummer and your guitar player really that tight, it can produce incredible things musically. And that's exactly what it did. He came in and really put his hands all over the album and the band, and it makes us really proud going forward that there's four of us now that are all on the same page and love this band and love where we're going with it.
It's so nice to hear that, to know that someone that is coming to a band, and it's another part and a very important part for the future of that band. It's marvelous to hear you speak about Lane like that.
Yeah, I
Some
love them.
I can see that. So some of the songs are a little bit more, I don't know, I don't want to say aggressive, but they are pretty strong. Is there any kind of emotion or feeling that you wanted to transmit with some specific song that is in the album?
Yeah, I definitely think the first half of the record has that feel, from songs like Lies to
Lies,
Just a
yeah.
Rat to Chucked Off to Doubts and the Fears. It was
No
very,
mercy, no mercy also.
yes, yes, yes. It's really directed at um, people in my life, like, over the last several years, that have just made not not the best positive marks or influences, or
Yeah.
the best for my soul or my health and things like that. And I really wanted to go at all of those people and those feelings straight to the throat. And I really just found myself in terms of how I write and compose the song lyrics now, and I'm more direct, but also very vague, to where any person that listens to it can also put their own experiences towards these songs. Because I think we all have people like who I dedicate the rat to, or people that chuck you off on a bad day. Those things are they're universal, and I was very focused on finding the words to make them powerful and effective and not have to be so much. And then you come into the second half of the record, and it's this turning point of used and abused and finding your strength.
Yeah.
Or Savage New Times, the song about going through hard times and finding that war cry inside you. And that was a huge difference for this record. I don't think any records in the past really had a positive echo to them, and this did. It was this. I look at music, and what I do is a therapy and a mental health release in a safe, positive way. And for me, that's exactly what this record was, and what I wanted my lyrics to be for someone else. And I think that flows and excels very hard on this one.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. You are noticed for your performance being very powerful. And
Yeah.
I would like to ask you, How do you keep the level of intensity when you are on tour? You
Yeah,
never
I mean,
tire, Richie?
I'm always tired, but when it's time to go on stage, I feel like every time I play, it's to release whether bad or good of my day
Yeah.
or the last couple days since the last show or whatever that is. It's really where I've been able to really focus that rather than like take it out on family or friends or take it out on your fiance or your loved ones. Like it really is something I've found that I can harness and really bottle up until the time that it's needed for a concert or a record. And I love how that live energy and aggression that we have to match a record. I think we've always fallen short on that aspect of our albums, and this this truly caught that. And I think that's what people get when they see us at a concert. It's this aggression of each guy
Yeah.
going and giving everything they have and leaving everything out on that stage. We take walking out on that stage the most serious part of our entire lives, and we don't we don't call in sick, as I guess you would say. We're there to give everything we have every time, and um, it's about just releasing that
Yeah.
stuff inside you.
Yeah. Like a true artist, right?
Thank you. Oh, definitely. That's what it's meant to be.
It's meant to be. You already spoke about Steve, the collaboration with Steve on this record. And I would like to ask you, how did this collaboration shape the final sound of the record?
Oh, Steve is a genius and one of the
Yeah.
best. His catalog of bands he's worked with is incredible, and this was our fourth album with him this time.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
But each time it felt like we missed something or we didn't the band wasn't able to capture what we needed to, and every record's great and gotten better and better and better. And I think when you find a comfortable but uncomfortable type of producer like he is, that's what you strive for. You want somebody to tell you that sucked but then give you a high five after you nail the part. And he's so good at that kind of balance in the studio. One second you're laughing, the next he's like, "Yo, that sucked. Do it better." And you're like, "Damn!" But
Okay.
we believe him and we put our trust into him, and he does the same. He understands what we're looking for, what we want to sound like, and this record it was fully captured, and we just had a great time with him. We were in New Jersey. It was the middle of winter. Gunshots outside the apartment,
Jesus.
snow. It was, we really immersed ourselves into the situation and allowed for no happy time. We allowed for no positive stuff. And that was really based off of his focus that he wanted on us. He wanted us to have no outside distractions and just really focus on this record. And I think that, again, is what a good producer will do. He'll keep
Absolutely.
your mind on it.
Absolutely, absolutely. Tell me a little bit about the artwork because it's pretty striking.
Yes. Comes from Marcelo Vasco, who's just an absolute force in terms of artists in the last decade. He's
Yeah.
done Slayer and Soulfly and Deicide and Kerry King and now Incite and so many more. Yeah, he just asked for some lyrics and had the songs and sat down and listened, and we gave him the free reign to give us his interpretation of what this music was like in terms of an artwork. And he presented us with the cover that you see, and no changes were made. It was
Wow.
perfect from the second we got it. To us, it just felt like it was something that metal would embrace in a strong way. It's a cover you can sift through at a vinyl shop, and it'll pop out to you. And then I think it relates very well into this savage New Times feel, and also lets people, the listener, look at it and again form their own relationship to it and what it means to them. And I think that again comes back to how cool this record is each
Yeah.
part of this record has that listener being able to totally immerse themselves and create memories or whatever from something that's been in their life. And the record again, it pops, and I think people are going to really grow into what it is and be a classic record cover.
Yeah, I'm quite sure that will be like that.
Thank you.
Do we have any chance to see you soon in Portugal?
Oh yes, I believe so. This year we're going to do a couple of U.S. tours, and then starting February, March next year,
Wow.
we should be in Europe and ready to go, as well as a summer festival tour in Europe next year. So I'm hoping the Portuguese promoters will hit us up and get us in there, and it's been some time since we've got to play
Yeah.
down there, so it's long overdue. And all the times we played in the past with like El Nino and Soulfly and stuff were always incredible times, and great food, beautiful people, and just an incredible atmosphere. But we will definitely be back.
And we'll be waiting, Richie. You can count on
Yes.
that. Richie, thank
Yes.
you so much for being here. It was a great, great pleasure. Congratulations on the album. It's a pretty good album, and I'll be waiting to see you on stage and to say you, hi, Richie, I'm here. thank,
Sandra, thank you for taking your
thank you.
time. Thank you, everybody at Look Mag and everywhere else. Really appreciate that. Spread the word, and much love, and we'll see you in the pit.
Thank you. Bye bye.
Thank you. Have a great night.